Midsommar is the new film from writer-director Ari Aster. He took the world by storm with his horror drama film Hereditary. Now, when I watched Hereditary, I tried to do like an on-site movie review, and it didn't really work because I was standing in an area with a loud train, and that review is only like 30 seconds long. It's not really good review, I'd say. It's not like a fair review going into the details of the film. But Midsommar is his follow-up. It is about Dani. She is a young woman who is suffering from a tragedy, and her boyfriend and her are on the rocks, sort of, but he's in that awkward position where he doesn't want to abandon her while she's going through stuff. So she sort of invites herself into this trip they're planning, going to Sweden for 6 weeks. And it's because one of the friends, Pelle, wants to show them this village he grew up in. Meanwhile, there's two others. One of them wants to get laid. The other one is an anthropologist who wants to study and do his thesis on this village. So the five of them go to Sweden, and then they drive 4 hours to go to this commune called the Hargas. And basically, that's where things get sinister. However, the movie does a really good job with the pacing. This film is 2.5 hours long, but it did not feel like 2.5 hours. This movie sucks you in. The music is great. There's a usage of Swedish chanting and other soundtrack notes, but the cinematography is the true winner of this film. The compositions are just so nightmarish, and like a lot of top angle shots, a lot of weird camera movements. Of course, the biggest winner on top pairing with cinematography is the acting. Florence Pugh is just utterly amazing in her role. She has to do this really vulnerable, broken woman, has to do a lot of crying and panic attacks, things like that. Such a good job. I mean, like, it couldn't have been an easy performance for her to do, to get into that mood over and over, but like, I've seen her in other films such as Lady Macbeth, and that's it. But wow, she's a force to be reckoned with on the screen. Utterly the best part of the movie. Everyone else is okay. Like, the other friends they have their own little quirks, like the funny one, the quiet one. They all have this sort of some themes woven in there. However, the movie's best quality is that it all takes place during the daylight. They're in this part of the country at a time where like darkness only comes for a few hours, and they're sort of stuck in this commune, and and they start slowly like having to be a part of like this culture and this way of life, and they don't like it, but they can't really leave. And then it's almost like slowly falling down to a rabbit hole, like sliding through the mud. And it has the same style of horror as Hereditary. Things aren't just like completely in your face screaming, but it's more of a subtle, dread that just seeps into your gut, this unfeeling. Sometimes it just sits there making you uneasy, and I love that. It's like true horror. It's dread. It's like that. It's like a feeling that you get for the entire film, not, oh, there's a man with a knife coming after me. And I really liked the slow-paced horror. And some people might not be into that, but I am. The movie also does have some influence. I saw a little bit of the Wicker Man in there, the original, not the new one. There's also a little bit of The Shining, a little bit at the beginning. However, this movie showcases Ari Aster's amazing attention to detail, his good casting for one thing, excellent cinematography, the way everything sort of feels sort of grounded. When you're watching this movie, everything's sort of brought into you as you are like the audience with the people in the movie. You're being sort of introduced to these elements at the same time that they are. So you're not really sure if like the things that happen in this little village happen in real life. There's got to be probably some basis of reality, but that's what makes it so cool, though. It's very plausible. It'd be different if they all went to this commune in the middle of nowhere and then tentacles started coming out of the ground. It'd be like, oh, okay, whatever. But like, it's different. It's very different. It's a movie that will make you feel uneasy. It just showcases fantastic acting, really good story. It just sort of just grabs you and doesn't let you go. It's a very dark film. I can understand a lot of people probably won't like this movie. It's a little bit more accessible than Hereditary, but it's not as scary, I don't think, but it does have its visceral moments. Also, I have to go into the fact that the movie's a little bit excessive at times. There are a couple scenes at the end of the movie that didn't really need to be there, but they decided to just throw it in for the hell of it. And I felt that was a little bit too much. But other than that, though, Midsommar is a very strong horror film. And I definitely recommend it for horror fans. So I give Midsommar a 7.5 out of 10.